Let's make sure we have our stuff properly configured. Um, there we go. So hello Twitch. We're jumping back into Skyrim, where me and my boy Zug, Orc Warrior, will be resuming our journey to find and read every book in Skyrim. And on the way, learn a little bit about what it means to be Dragonborn and perhaps pick a side of the Civil War. Actually, we left suddenly earlier when Zug was interrupted by something going on in my real world, where I learned there were protests going on a couple of streets away. This needs to go away. So I had to deal with that. We're okay now. I'm here with Gore. Say hello, Gore.
Yeah. Let's go.
These Joggers got lots of jewelry. I think that's the direction we came from. And we're here in Shroudhearth Barrow, which is just east of the road that goes through Ivarstead. Oh shit! Is it actually gonna hurt us? No. Oh, that's neat. Not for me, but for Gore, perhaps. Okay, let's get that there. What does this do? Some serious heavy breathing going on behind this door. Foos row. Foos row. That sucked. Maybe we need to practice our shouts for a minute first. Foos. 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 Wold. None of this is working. Wold. 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 So occasionally this program gets into a state where it's hearing not just my microphone, but every single sound on my PC. I think it's very confused. Foos. Wold. This is what it was literally working last night. Wold. Hang on. Wold. Has no idea what I'm doing. Foos. Foos. Yeah. This thing is confused. All right, let's try this again. Foos. Be good. Just practice a couple more times. Wold. Yo, yo. What's up, little J Hoodie? Am I saying your name right? All right, let's make sure this mod is working. I mean, my Dovahkiin powers. Foos row. We're good. Alright, these jogger are in for a treat. Thanks for the follow-up. Welcome, welcome. Foos row. Don't you just love it when technology works? Who is the most annoying character in Skyrim? Is this a test or is this my opinion? I feel like for most people it would be a tie between Nazim and Heimskr. Who's your most annoying character?
Riften is where they make Blackbriar mead. We should head down there, have ourselves a little taste test.
Oh my... Nazim, yes. You don't get to the Cloud District very often, do you? What am I saying? Oops, that was the wrong button. Wold. Not enough distance. Boost row. Boost row. I just knocked over my buddy. Oops. That guy was rough. Okay. I don't like the glowy ones. Freak me out. Alright, Gore.
What do you need?
Let's upgrade your armament a little bit.
Just leave me all the food.
And I'll give you a shield. Do you have a one-handed weapon? Let's give you one
go.
in case you want it.
Just remember, just leave me all the food. All right then.
All you, buddy. Live free. All right, rock and roll.
People get tired of hearing it. But in the arena, you take one battle at a time. Same goes for ruins like this. Too big to think too far ahead.
Okay. Let's switch to axes. Better on Draugr. Boost row. That was strange. Wait, what? Something very strange can happen. Yeah, I just loaded an old save somehow. What? That's a super old save. Did I just lose all my progress in this dungeon? Oh my lord. Okay. Third time's the charm, I guess. Oh, Talos. Oh, kind. So, Lil J Hoodie, how's your Saturday evening and/or Sunday morning going? And/or whatever other lovely time zone you happen to originate from.
Just leave me all the food. All right then.
Boost row. Don't step on that. Kill us both. So it looks like these skeletons, for whatever reason, are not fazed by unrelenting force. I'm out of restore health items. That's a bad thing to happen. It's okay. This is an easy room.
People get tired of hearing it. But in the arena, you take one battle at a time. Same goes for ruins like this. Too big to think too far ahead.
It just happened again. What is happening? I walked through a door and it loaded a completely different save from the one that I was playing. What is happening? I'm getting spooked. What is going on here? Who's throw? Things are a little buggy feeling at the moment. No idea what's going on. Flawless garnet. That's nice. Goose throw. I'm getting a message from my wife. She can hear me foos rowing from the other room. Oh. Okay. I thought it was going to make me shout.
Yeah?
Gotta be careful about
Just
that.
leave me all the food.
The power of my Thum ascends. Take that mace.
Let's go.
I'm just gonna keep saving.
When I was in the dungeon, a bunch of the guards used to
Who's
torture
throw?
the prisoner in a cell. It wasn't right.
Yeah.
Wasn't fair.
Just let it. Come on through. Gore, you're a bit of an idiot. Wool. So sweet. Fuck. I'll step on that. Foos roll. There's the key, baby. Apparently I'm shouting too loudly. Right. This way. Oh! Fish. Snake. Fish, bird, snake, fish. Boost roll. Core is so dumb. Just love it. Okay, let's not die to a trap.
Yeah? Uh-huh. You're the boss.
Damn straight. A little Indiana Jones going on in here.
About time, friend. Here I was thinking I was going to have to kill something without you.
You say kill something, or I assume you mean stumble into a trap, right? Oh boy, look at this room.
Finally, some action. Let's go, friend. Time's a-wasted. Riften is where they make Blackbriar mead. We should head down there, have ourselves a little taste test.
Up in my potion stores. Boost roll. Boost roll. Boost roll. Still hope it's in here. Alright, what do we got?
People get tired of hearing it. But in the arena,
Kind's peace.
you take one battle at a time. Same goes for ruins like this. Too big to think too far ahead.
Wold. For some reason I thought the flame shout was the one from this barrel. All right. Job's done here. That was kind of our reward for driving out Windelius, and I'd say it was well earned.
Just leave me all the food. Alright then. If what Gaiden Shinji says is... Have you ever heard of clan fear? Lizard beasts from
Curious if
Oblivion.
War has anything new to say to us.
Tastes like chicken.
Looks like no. You see that?
People get tired of hearing it. But in the arena, you take one battle at a time. Same goes for rules like this.
So I believe that what's happening is one of the keys being used by... Because the way that my Thum works is it uses the F keys on the keyboard to do stuff. And I believe that when I say certain words, which are predefined Windows things, it's trying to press a certain key. Which is loading us. It's hitting quick load, essentially. So... let's have a look at quick load. I basically never want to use quick load. F10. What key can I make it that'll never get used? How about that? Maybe that'll solve that problem.
Just remember, I remember when I first signed on. The Blade Master didn't have a raiment my size. Had to borrow one from a Breton. That thing fit like a corset on a minotaur. I looked like a sodding carrot. My opponent didn't think it so funny, though, when I caved their chest in. Just leave me all the food.
How y'all feeling about Gore? You guys getting sick of him yet? I think Zug's starting to get a little bit sick of him. Just a little bit.
All right, then.
Well, Zug's not doing any alchemy. So Zug might as well put all of his herbs he wants to sell into his forest of stocks.
Those bears are making Miss Timba so angry.
Here for work?
I hope
Get
we
an
can do
axe
something
and bring
about
me
them.
all the wood you can chop.
Simba. I think it's time for us to move on from my bar stuff. Yep. I think we're going to... Zug's going to plot a course south of the throat, hook around through Riverwood, back to White Run. We have a horse full of stuff that needs to get sold. But let's go ahead and... camp out the night first. Good spot. Ooh. Terrain here is a little bit odd. This fire isn't hot enough to cook it. Yeah. It's been a long sleep and early rise tomorrow. Lying down with a torch, huh? Let's find a book. On Morrowind by Eramanwe of Sunhold. The historical synopsis of the Imperial conquest of Morrowind. After the conquest of Hammerfell, Imperial legions massed along the northeastern borders of Cyrodiil, and invasion fleets prepared in Skyrim. Initially, though the Imperial legions and navy were widely considered undefeatable, House Indoril and the Temple hierarchy proposed to resist the death. Redoran and Dress stood by Indoril, with Telvanni remaining neutral. Hilalu proposed accommodation. Contrived border incidents in Black Marsh ended inconclusively, but the swampy terrain did not favor Legion and Navy coordination. Against the legions massed west of the Silgrad Tower and Kraganmore, and the legions west of Blacklight and Camarus View, Morrowind had pitifully small militias stiffened by small companies of Redoran mercenaries and elite units of House Nobles and Temple Ordinators and Armigers. Further complicating matters was the refusal of Indoril, Dress, Hilalu, and Telvanni to garrison the western borders. Indoril and Dress proposed, rather than defend the western border, instead to withdraw to the interior and fight a guerrilla war. With Hilalu advocating accommodation and Telvanni remaining neutral, Redoran therefore faced the prospect of standing alone against the Empire. The situation changed radically when Vivek appeared in person in Vivek City to announce his negotiation of a treaty with Emperor Tiber Septim, reorganizing Morrowind as a province of the Empire, but guaranteeing all rights, faith, and self-government. A shocked temple hierarchy, which apparently had not been consulted, greeted the announcement with awkward silence. Indoril swore they would resist to the death with the loyal support of Dress, while Redoran, grateful for a graceful excuse to avoid facing the legions unsupported, joined with Hilalu in welcoming the agreement. Telvanni, seeing which way the wind blew, joined the Hilalu and Redoran in supporting the treaty. Nothing's known of the circumstances of the personal meeting between Septim and Vivek, or where it took place, or the preliminaries which must have preceded the treaty. The public reason was to protect the identities of the agents involved. In the West, speculation had centered around the role of Zorin Arctus in brokering the agreement. In the East, rumors suggested that Vivek offered Numidium to aid in the conquest of the Altmer and Somerset Isle in return for significant concessions to preserve self-rule, house traditions, and religious practices in Morrowind. The High Lord Counselor of the Grand Council, an Indoril, refused to accept the treaty and refused to step down. He was assassinated and replaced by Halalu. House Halalu took the opportunity to settle some old scores with House Indoril, and a number of local councils changed hands in bloody coups. More blood was shed in these inter-house struggles than against the Imperial legions during Morrowind's transition from an independent nation to a province of the Empire. The generals of the legions had dreaded an invasion of Morrowind. The Dunmer were widely regarded as the most dreadful and fanatic foes, further inspired by their temple and clan traditions. The generals had not grasped the political weakness of Morrowind, which Emperor Tiber Septim recognized and exploited. At the same time, given the tragic depopulation and destruction experienced by other provinces conquered by Septim, and the swift and efficient assimilation of Morrowind into the imperial legal systems and economy, with relatively small impact on lower or upper classes of Morrowind citizens, the Tribunal also deserves some credit for recognizing the hopelessness of Morrowind's defense, and the chance of gaining important concessions at the treaty table by being the first to offer peace. By contrast, many Indoril nobles chose to commit suicide rather than submit to the Empire, and the result of the house was significantly weakened during the period of transition, guaranteeing that they would lose much of their influence and power to House Lalu, whose influence and power was waxing with the enthusiastic accommodation with the Empire. The Temple hierarchy more skillfully managed their loss of face, remaining aloof from political struggles, and earning the goodwill of the people by concentrating on their economic, educational, and spiritual welfare. That's on Morrowind. And as we do after a good story at night, we sleep. How long did we sleep for? Guess we'll get up before the sun. Okay. Let's get moving.
Talos guide you.
You too, soldier. What you doing out here? Patrolling, huh? I hear something up here. Zug's gonna have a look.
Fight or die well.
Hello, soldier. Is your book? No. Little prize for later. When the sun rises. Mind if I get a tap?
Next Imperial I see is dead.
Hey man, let me get some. Okay. All yours, brother. Just a soldier up there. What's up there? Ooh, look at that. See that core? That looks interesting. Actually, there is a structure up here that I totally was distracted away from examining by the soldier. Zug's gonna permit himself a quick look. Something up there. Let's have a look. Can we climb the slope? Oh, okay. Fair enough. I know, Gore, you're cold. Let's move it along. Stormcloaks and a dead Imperial. Tells a story.
Keep your eyes open.
Brutal. Nice axe.
Fight or die well.
A Marche. Don't need for us to stop for this one more. Let's move it along. Ah, there are some of those lovely pine trees. Happy little trees. Yes. Did you see my Thum repair? My Thum. Alright, watch this. Wooled.
Take a look.
Ah. Harder
Until
than a
next
Horker
time.
tusk. What's going on over here? Oh, it's a Stormcloak camp here. So I can yell the first two of those words, but not the third because I haven't learned it yet. So here, I'll show you. Boost roll. Gore doesn't mind. Once I learn the da, then I'll throw them all three in. Earlier, I was really bellowing it out, but my wife complained I was being too noisy, so I brought it down a notch.
Keep your eyes open.
Torrig Sunkiller, there's a name. How do you feel about the war, Torrig?
Skyrim is the birthplace of humanity, the birthplace of honor, and those snow-backed Imperials renounced both when they laid down before the Thalmor. Worse still, to pay for the privilege to keep his throne, the Emperor sells Skyrim and our very gods, Talos no less, to the damn elves. And what did Torrig do? He and the Owls that supported him? They took the Emperor's gold, sold out their people for a slave master's peace treaty. Ulfric did right killing him. Soon we'll rid Skyrim of elves, their bloody Justicars, and the Jarls in their pockets. The whole damn lot of them. And we'll cleave through the Legion to get to them.
Yikes. Okay.
All right then.
I know what he thinks. Ah, the armorer, yes. This lady can actually help me out. A horse is here somewhere. Oh. There you are.
By the nine, I hate the waiting. The goddamned waiting.
Did I not see a tanning rack here a moment ago? Perhaps Zug imagined it. It's okay, we carry one with us.
I'll fight the entire Legion myself if they dare show their faces here.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Actually, I have a quest over here to retrieve a dagger called Nettlebane from these hag ravens. So this will be a fun little fight. I have a feeling it's going to be a tough one. Whenever I've gone down there with my Skyrim modded, they've always wrecked me in the past. So we'll see how this goes. Let's gather a little wood on the way. Need some next time we stop in camp. Still there, Repair? How did Overwatch go? Nice. When you guys play, are you usually playing quick play or competitive queue? Comp. Yeah, you get more serious games out of that, I imagine. So do you guys care a lot about your elo in that game? Or is it like a whatever type deal? You don't care a lot, but you're trying to improve. That's like a very healthy perspective. Progress means something. Yeah. We were just talking about that earlier, right? Progress means something. I have no idea how this is going to go. This approach is fairly atmospheric, I must say. Trying to expand your hero pool. There are some 3 heroes you'd say you play well, but trying to branch out and learn a couple more. Seems like if you really enjoy Overwatch, that's a good way to... Oh, hang on, I gotta concentrate. Boost roll. Level 20.
The whites take you.
Where are these shots coming from? There's one.
Guide me!
Oh my god. What's those explosions? What the fuck? dead. Kusro.
Must have scared him off.
Shit. Those witches slap. I should have ran away. That was dumb of me. So what are the heroes you play now, Repair? I think when I played with you last, I noticed you playing Zarya. Is that one of your stable of 3? Am I faster in third person? Is it possible? No, this feels faster. Sigma, Zarya, Roadhog. Aren't those all tanks? Alright, so I'm using my anti-mage bow here. Doug is not usually much of a sneaker. He's scared of these witches. Why are you shooting? Wolves.
That's your best, huh? Your end draws near.
So I keep getting this animation bug where
Need something.
it draws the bow when I'm not pressing shoot. Mostly play off tank. Makes sense. I wonder if I can get the soldiers involved in this fight. Why isn't Zug be smart about this and just start sniping these mages from the cliffside?
Somebody help! There's the way you going to enjoy killing you. Victory is yours. I submit.
These spells are badass.
You think you stand a chance? You think you stand a chance?
One more shot.
Over here. Going to enjoy killing you.
Are you now?
You're pathetic. You think you stand a chance?
Boost roll.
Die, or filth. Somebody help! I'll see you burn. You think you stand a chance? You're killing you.
Wold. Wold. That was tense. Mostly off tank. So what characters are you looking to expand into, Repair? What captures your fancy? Diva and Wrecking Ball make the most sense. Used to be very good at Diva. Is it because you like those characters? Because it makes sense for you to like them. Oh, we're not done here. Hello.
I'll see you burn.
Now we're done. But you suck now. She's played very differently. So she's plays very different from when you were good at her. How she played. Nightshade, that's valuable. Oh! That is a ward. Okay. Christ. Darn. The Zug is not strong enough to open that lock. Spooky, dude. Where's the Hag Raven? Here she is. Yikes. Wrecking Ball is the most fun to play by far, probably the most difficult to play effectively in a team setting. Cooldown management and movement need to be both be on point. That's Hammond, right? The hamster guy? He always looked fun. Like, if I was going to play the game, he'd be a character I'd want to jump in and learn. Let's see, you're asking, is this quest you're doing part of the main game, or is it a mod or expansion content? I don't remember this at all. This is actually a vanilla quest. It's not part of the main quest. Do you remember the Gildergreen quest in the Priest in Whiterun? That's what this is. This is the first step of it. So, yeah, I go and get this dagger, and then she's gonna send me to the parent tree of the Gildergreen, which is roughly somewhere around here, somewhere. And then I'll bring it back to Whiterun, and it'll help heal the actual dying tree in Whiterun. Fun fact: there's a mod that makes it so that after you heal the Gildergreen, over time you'll actually see it grow back into a, something that resembles a tree rather than a stump. Also been a very long time. Yeah, man. I've been through a lot of these quests at the start of the game many times because I oftentimes will start a Skyrim playthrough and after like 10 or 15 hours I just lose steam. So one of the things I'm self-monitoring is like my interest to continue forward. I'm trying to play the game at a pace where I'm excited to come back to it. We'll see if I can keep it up though. This area is so well manicured. Like, I want to convert this into like a house back here. It's be quite a driveway. All right, Gore. So I think we're going to loop back to Whiterun now. You can build a house, can't you? Yes, there is an official DLC called Hearthfires that allows you to build your own house. And I think one of the early milestones that Zug will have in his playthrough is to get is to become the Thane of Falkreath so that he can start building a house there. Not quite there yet. What I'm expecting, based on my understanding of how the game works, is snow. So atmospheric. I'm expecting that when I get to Whiterun, the courier will deliver me a letter from the Jarl of Falkreath asking me to come solve his problems. Because technically, if you're Dragonborn above a certain level, that's what happens. But we'll see. I might be wrong about that. Okay, so this is Helgen. This is where you start the game out. That's the where the cart comes down. Boost row. Work build. Wow, racist much? When you were in grad school, there was a history grad student you worked with at the library. He was obsessed with Elder Scrolls, and he nerded out over that DLC. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like a very love lettery type DLC. Like, it adds no real quest. It adds no, like, no villain to fight. It's just a home in Skyrim, dude. And one of the wings of the home you can build is a library wing, which I fully intend to take advantage of. So have we fully cleared out the bandit presence here? The body burns to ashes to touch it, but somehow a weather journal survived the attack. Journal. Where is that? Oh, there's someone else here. A library. Yes, a library wing. Zug doesn't know about it yet. He's going to be very excited when he learns about this. Oh, here we go. Wool. Wool. I have to be careful about my pronunciation. The way you say wool is like the way you say pool. That's a back of the box shot right there. That was funny. You saw Grapple DLC ones. It introduced World WDE moves into hand-to-hand combat. Yeah. People do all kinds of crazy things in Skyrim. Like that. I have a mod that lets you bash open locks. I'm a big fan of it. Wool. My Thum is getting rusty. Wool. 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 I screwed something up. Wool. Poos. I know, my dragon's rusty. Wool. What are you shooting at, bro? You get that rabbit. Hello, dog. So one of the things I'm still trying to figure out is where I'm landing on fast travel this playthrough. Generally, I'm not a big fan of fast travel. And I do have a mod that adds more characters to the world. So you can pay to go from city to city. But I also don't want to drag things out to be so ultra tedious, so I don't know. We'll see where I come down on it. I wonder where that goes. Let's check it out. Okay.
That's close enough.
What? What's the problem, guys? Oh. Okay. Whoa. We're gonna fight you guys. I wanted to say hey. But now that you're dead. that will take your coins and your foods and your stamina foods. And as far as travel goes, I also find that the horse riding experience in Skyrim is really jarring. It takes you out of the experience. So you see me having my horse trail along behind me rather than having him, be underneath me. Whoa. I can't wait to get to the point where I have like 15 different shouts and I'm frantically trying to remember how they work. I'm just like saying shit in combat. The mod's configurable too, so I can actually change the words if I wanted to. Like I can make Khusro Da like what the fuck? Yell some Harry Potter words. So what do you think, Repair? What can I do to bring more people in to watch this stuff? Is what I'm doing interesting at all? I find it interesting. But I'm not sure what people think. Not that I've really spent time bringing people in. I'm just curious what you think. I'm not really feeling terrible about it or anything. Riverwood, what's up, everyone? Oh, there's a general merchant here. Yes, let's offload some goods. Come here, horsey. Now is that the target audience? Yeah, but who is the target audience? Like, it's kind of what I'm wondering, you know? Like, who's thirsting to see Skyrim? Like, I don't think that, like, ideally, like, people wouldn't be watching me because of the game I'm playing. That's the dream, right? Like, I actually had a really good discussion on the stream either last night or the night before, I can't remember which, where a PlanSide player and streamer named Lex dropped by and started asking me what I thought about the Stadia guy's tweet. And we had ended up being like a 17-minute long chunk of time where we were discussing it and I was playing the game. And it was, I think, pretty interesting to watch. So I actually exported it and chopped it up, and it's like 11 minutes of straight talking. Let's sell some stuff. Yep.
Stay out of trouble.
You're kind of doing an RP playthrough, but I don't know what the audience you do have necessarily interested in that. Right. I mean, the point is to, like, have fun with the Skyrim lore and enjoy the, like, I think the thing about the game I'm interested in surfacing is, like, I feel like there's so many, like, there's so much content and streamer focus that's like in two different directions with games like these. Number one, where it's like hyper, like, get all the achievements and be the most powerful and like hyper achiever dominance. The other one is like, here's the lore of the Elder Scrolls, here's the origin of the elves, but I thought it would be fun to have like a take on the lore exploration that was more like incremental, rather than me explain it to you. It's like let's learn about it together and enjoy the unreliable narrator device that the Elder Scrolls uses so well. Where's Alvor? I was going to tell him some stuff, but I lost track of it. That's Gore. Actually, use some stuff you're not using, Gore. You look ridiculous in that helmet,
Just
you know that?
leave me all the food.
Here, let me actually steal this from you. And this. This.
Let's go.
It's kind of a neat look.
Yeah. Just leave me all the food.
You're using the enchanted gauntlets. Do you not have any heavy boots? Oh, interesting. I haven't looted any. And you're using probably not 2 battle axes.
Let's go.
My horse is slipping out. And I am very encumbered. Where is Alvor? Can I repair? Thanks
It
for stopping
means
by,
so
dude.
much to us to have the claw back where...
Thank you so much for taking care of those thieves. The Riverwood Trader is back to the way it used to be.
Glad to hear it.
Take a look.
Let's sell some stuff. Let's see, I can sell you... a few things.
It was a pleasure.
Is Alvor still sleeping on the job? Maybe he's at the end.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. I think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
I don't owe you money, do I? It would seem so.
The weather is terrible. What's the
It
point of
can't
this
be
line?
helped. It would seem so. Got any ale or mead? Until next time.
Not gonna waste a meat on him.
You're that visitor been poking around.
That's me. What's up, Orgnar?
We got rooms and food. Drink, too. I cook. Ain't much else to tell.
Not much action at the end tonight. I don't get it. Did Alvor like get forced into like dragon attack or something? Where's Bane? No. Who is this?
Ah, another stranger passing through Riverwood. Off on the next adventure, hmm?
You could say that.
Fair enough. But if you're seeking excitement and riches, this ain't the place, I'm afraid. Riverwood does have its charms, but I imagine they're not quite what you're looking for.
Charms? The most charming thing I've seen is probably the sawmill.
Vendal and Sven keep things interesting from day to day with their bickering. But it's not all bad. It's peaceful, quiet. The most exciting thing to happen here in recent memory was a drunken brawl over 2 cheese wheels and a chicken. It must be a Nord thing. In any case, I'm glad to have some time, and more importantly, respite from the world.
What brought you to Riverwood, Malik?
Here's the same as anywhere else, I suppose. Why not? Riverwood type? It's okay, stranger. I know what you mean. You're correct. I am no farmhand or errand boy. I am, or was, a soldier. But that life is behind me now. I've taken a few beatings in my time.
Sounds like a story.
You've got a good sense for it, that's for sure. I can tell you, if you'd like. But let's get somewhere more comfortable first. Come, follow me.
Hey, Hod. You seen Alvor around?
Here for work? Get an axe. Bring me all the wood you can chop.
I do apologize for the pace. My legs are quite what it used to
What's up, Girder?
Well met, friend. How can I help you? I.
Divine smile on you, friend.
What's up, Big F?
There we go.
You were saying?
Let's make this absolutely clear. I don't know who you are or how you found me, but if you try anything, I will kill you. The Dominion pays well, of that I have no doubt. But even a cripple can still hold a blade.
You think I'm with the Thalmor?
Mercenaries come in many guises, so you'll have to forgive me for not taking you at your word. How much did they pay you, Your weight in jewels? The promise of an emissary's position? You're an idiot if you think the Dominion keeps its word.
Because everyone talks to you of being a spy?
Until I see evidence to the contrary, I have no reason to believe you. Riverwood is a quiet town. Good people here. And I won't let you change that.
And why would I be after you? I don't even know who you are.
Maybe so. But why did you approach me in the first place? I have no errands for you to run, no gold to spare. Huh. The only thing I have in abundance now is time.
I'm not your enemy. I just wanted to say hey.
Very well. You seem honest enough. Let's sit down first. Then you can ask me whatever you'd like. My leg has started cramping again, as it is.
Hey, Alvor.
Whatever you need. The finest
man I was looking
weapons
for.
and armor. Good day.
Good do business, Albert. I'm guessing Malik went to the inn? Well, I wasn't looking. Unless that's him over here.
I hope you'll not begrudge a veteran for being careful, but it pays to look out for one's enemies, no matter how long it's been.
You don't think you're being a bit paranoid?
No. If there's anything I know for certain, it's that the Thalmor never forget those who cross them. Even a sleepy village like Riverwood can attract unwanted attention, if you're not careful.
What's your story with the Dominion?
The better question is, what didn't we do? I'm from a small hamlet on the edge of Alakir. Conditions could be worse than Morrowinds at times, but it was honest, and life made sense.
Sounds like you miss it.
But there's too much bad blood there now. Too many bad memories. Not just me, but for us all.
What changed?
The Dominion, of course. I was still half a boy at that age. Bull-headed. Rash. But I wanted to make a difference. Help the fight against elven supremacy. Thalmor forces were already in Hammerfell before the Great War had officially started, so I began working with a local band across the Alakir. Must have been quite a shock to the elves, to come from lush grasslands and comfort to nothing but desolate wastes as far as the eye can see. Lutes and poetry weren't going to be much help there. There's an old saying that the sands swallow all. We'd use the storms to cover our approach, and strike quickly before they had a chance to react. Most of us were just pulled from local settlements. Men and women that had been thrown into warfare with only basic martial training. But we made it work. Fought as hard as anything to keep our home.
And did it work?
For a time. We had some close calls, and magic is always an unknown in combat. But we fought hard, won a few victories. Even joined a battle near the entrance of Montelion. That was chaos if I ever saw it. Soon enough, the locals who had barely learned to hold the right end of a blade were veterans, forged through blood and war.
The basics aren't so hard to pick up. Your foe is the unknown.
Indeed. I've known great soldiers to be felled by a dagger in the ribs or an arrow in the back. If you want to survive a ground war, always watch your flank. Bravado will only get you so far.
What happened next?
Good soldiers are worth their weight in gold. Soon enough, we went our separate ways, summoned off to different patrols. The war was gripping all of Tamriel by this point, and even the nobles understood that we couldn't be getting much help from the outside. I had taken a poison arrow during one of the last night raids, and was recovering in Sentinel. A short respite from battle, but a welcome one. As any soldier can tell you, you take whatever sleep you can get. A lot of wounded in the city, but the guard kept it together, and the Dominion off our backs.
And that wasn't the end?
No. In fact, it was quite the opposite. While recovering and visiting some friends, I was approached by one of the forebearers. The siege had recently been broken, and finally it seemed like the two were going to get their heads out of the sand. She was all blood, respected in the city, and as a joint effort with the Crowns, they organized a war band. By Satakal, it seemed someone got the idea that I should be picked to lead them.
Quite an offer.
It was. Something like that doesn't come around every day. Strictly need to know, armed with the best gear Hammerfell Gold could buy, to strike fear in any who dared to cross into our lands.
And you took it?
Of course. I may have been injured, but those few weeks hadn't made me go soft. I was eager to get back into the field and tear the Dominion a new one. We shook hands, and the next day I went to meet them. My people. We met in an old ruin beneath the city. Only a few guards on hand. Introductions were made, plans laid out, and we toasted, even as Dominion spells pummeled the gates outside. As for my fellows, well, I could tell we were going to get along just fine. We headed out next morning.
What were your fellows like, Malik?
Some of the finest men and women I've ever known. War has a tendency to make or break a person, but these ones... I don't know if you fought in a war, traveler. Real war. But if you're lucky, every once in a while, you'll come into contact with someone who just has it. Skill, luck, bit of the gods on their side. I don't know, but each and every one of them was like fury itself in battle. We were the very best Hammerfell had to offer, and we were going to make Thalmor pay their tribute in blood.
Tell me.
Our frontal team was led by an enormous Pomarat, gold flecks tinting a mane that had been decades in the making. From what I've heard, they're a rare sight outside of the Khajiit's homeland. But if you saw him fight, you'd understand why I was glad to have him on our side. A lot of great warriors out there, but few would dare risk locking blades with someone like him. More than once, he'd lean forward and sink his fangs into the enemy's face. Rip their throat out, even. The Thalmor never saw it coming. Outside of battle, though, Saja was a quiet one. He was content to keep watch while the rest of us slept, meditating under the moons.
Who else?
Alongside Saja and I, there was an old man, Arlund, disgraced son of one of the minor houses, or some such thing. It didn't seem to matter to him, of course, and certainly not us. But by the sands could that man fight. The art has been lost to history for as long as anyone can remember, but he captured even the smallest fragment of what the Arnshai once were. Sword singers. Never seen anyone before or since handle a blade quite like he could. The damn fool could be grouchy, and wave take you if you interrupted his battle preparations. But he was a dear friend. Not content to live out his days in bed, he fought to the last.
And what about the others?
With the three of us diving into the thick of it, we had support from all sides to protect our flank. First was the Bosmer, Niels. I've never been to Valenwood, but the way he held a bow was a work of art. He was small, but he could use that to his advantage, dropping down before a patrol even had a chance to react. Before he'd even touched the ground, 3 arrows would find their mark. But he was always disappointed it couldn't be 4. A bit mad. He loved taking scalps wherever he could, but he moved like water and saved our hides on more than one occasion. Next was Kara, Altimer battle mage. Yes, surprising, no? Fate must have had a sense of humor, sending someone of that caliber into the arms of the Resistance. She could tear any of her kin apart with a spell, and took pleasure in it too. Kara never told us what had brought her from Alinor, but then again, we never asked. She was a firebrand, all right. And gods protect you if you said anything about her heritage or homeland.
But you tolerated her.
Of course. She made her allegiance clear from the moment we met, and we never had any reason to doubt her. It was always very matter-of-fact with her. Anything that needed to be done, got done. She'd crawl out of oblivion itself if it'd get her home back.
Who else?
There was Sunvar. I suppose you'd call him our healer, although he personally hated the term. Sure, he knew some restoration magic and could whip up a poultice in the field, but his real skill laid in alchemy. More than once, we'd stop on the road only to find that he wandered off to collect supplies a few leagues back. Oils, poison, explosives, you name it. He had a knack for the stuff, surprising for a Nord, but that was our merry band all around, wasn't it? Finally, there was Tanwin, the only one I knew before the war, but I would prefer not to speak of her.
Quite the party.
We were a family of sorts. Any commander can send new blood to their death. I suppose it was a luxury that I could come to know them at all. Trust them. Madness had brought us together, but they were all good people. Honest. Even under difficult conditions, there was never a shred of doubt. I've been fortunate to fight alongside people I'd gladly die for. Even more so, to have walked away from that war at all.
What were you trying to get done?
It was simple, really. Disrupt Dominion activities wherever we could. At first it was mostly helping protect the roads or the occasional emissary. As the war progressed, we were given more specific tasks. Sabotage and the like. Extinguishing fires, slitting throats as the Thalmor slept, and disappear before the first light. Soon enough, a bit of a legend began to develop. The ghosts of Ben Karai. Deadly wraiths waiting in the reaches of the Alakir.
Did you like that name?
I believe it was the locals that had started the tale. A superstition after patrols no doubt failed to return. It was all nonsense, of course. But as far as we were concerned, anything to shake the Dominion's resolve had its uses. No one, no matter how skilled at tracking, knows the wastes better than my people. And we used that to our advantage. But we referred to ourselves by our own name. Enough time has passed that the name is now only that. But once the Resistance only had to utter it to make captured spies cave. Huh.
Well deserved reputation, I take it.
We weren't suited to attrition or open warfare. Thousands and thousands charging at each other in an open plain. Our strengths lay in quick, ruthless attacks. Give everything we had and move out before any scouts nearby showed. A fireball to scatter mounted soldiers, arrows from an elevated point. Then the rest of us moved in to clear up. The Thalmor showed no mercy, so why would we show them any in return?
It sounds like you did what needed to be done. No shame in that.
You understand. Good. Hesitation, empathy. All these things are luxuries. Perhaps things could have gone a different way, but we did what we needed to do. Only nobles in their comfortable manners have the time to debate right and wrong. The rest of us just have to live with it.
And you fought.
Yes. By then it seemed like all Tamriel had fought to a standstill, but the war just dragged on. Our party was moving around Hammerfell more freely, but we could only be in one place at a time. Let one village burn so you can help protect another. Assault a war party or keep the Thalmor scouts blind. 100 lives or 1,000. Simple choices, but so much more to consider. In any case, that's how it was. One morning, we must have been camped by a small oasis. A rider came charging up. We received letters from Sentinel and other cities before, of course, but this was unexpected.
And it said?
We had been ordered to a small village on the border with Cyrodiil to await members of the Dominion command passing through. Our contact was a bard of all faiths, a young Imperial woman by the name of Lavella Dientis. She had been scouting the place out before our arrival.
Was it a trap?
Of course, but the letter was legitimate, and we weren't exactly in a position to refuse with the war going on. Within a couple of days, we had left the wastes of the Alakir behind us and headed for greener pastures.
What happened?
When we arrived, it was late at night, but that gave us a bit of time to check the place out. Calling it a village was certainly generous. It was more of a loose collection of hovels than anything else. A couple of houses, a run-down farm on the eastern edges, and your typical tavern to pull it together. Nothing out of the ordinary. Next morning, we headed in and visited the tavern. Our illustrious contact was dressed in finery, playing to bleary-eyed peasants. It was all very surreal.
What were they like?
Mostly farmers. They appeared to tolerate Dientis' presence as long as she steered clear enough to let them drink in peace. I don't know much about lutes and singing, but she was clearly skilled. Why it was her, someone who'd draw the attention of everyone within 100 leagues as our contact, though, was beyond me. Anyway, despite some misgivings, there was no sign of the Dominion, and the innkeeper's family were decent folk as we settled in.
Did Lavella have any info?
Surprisingly, yes. The letter did turn up something we could use. Dientis told us that a group of emissaries and nobility from Alinor had been traveling with a larger force through the east of Hammerfell. However, the force had split off to move into Skyrim, so these nobles were moving to an encampment in southern Cyrodiil, right into our path.
Good opportunity for some payback.
Exactly. And after trudging through the desert, each and every one of us was eager to take that opportunity.
I can imagine.
Dientis was eager to get it done and leave the place, but we enjoyed some brief respite. Each day we checked the roads, using the woods to stay unseen. Then, well, the time finally came.
Oh?
As I said, the village was no fortress. There were some makeshift stables that could provide cover from arrows, but not a whole lot else. Most of the villagers heeded my warning and left before the Dominion arrived, but the innkeeper was stubborn. Said that he wouldn't move, even if Baal himself was coming. We decided that the best way to draw them out would be to stage an attack in the woods and bring them into the village. Close quarters would be our advantage, and hopefully give us enough time to deal with any spells. Dianthus volunteered to play victim of a bandit attack, a little too eagerly, actually. But she was our best hope for getting their attention. All that was left to do was move into position. I waited inside the inn with Saja and Sunvar to play the part of drunken bandits, getting fat off the latest raid and hopefully enough to get the Dominion's attention.
And the others?
Our Lund was dressed as a blind old traveler, nursing a drink on the ground just outside with Nilus on the roof or the stables nearby. Kara had a Justicar's outfit, so would move in with the rest of the group as they approached the village. Tanwyn, well, she wanted to sit by me, act as the concubine to my dastardly bandit leader.
Did it work?
No. Almost from the moment we put it into motion, things began to spin out of control. We had assumed that once we got their attention, the group would move into the village as one. The Altimer work as single parties. They're not suited to scouting or smaller warbands. They used the Barsmur Khajiit for that. Numbers weren't a problem provided we could use the surroundings to our advantage. But it was going to be a tough fight. You can imagine what it was like when 2 Justicars rode in ahead of the group, just as we were getting ready.
What'd you do?
The only thing we could do. Stick to the plan and hope that Dianthus would draw in the rest of them. All of us knew the risks, knew what we were in for. But when the 2 Justicars walked in, no one dared to even breathe. I certainly considered it, but had they managed to get a spell off, it would scatter the rest of the group. Or at the very least, it would blow our disguises trying to deal with the bodies. It wasn't easy, but we had to keep going. The innkeeper could tell something was wrong, but served up the Justicar some drinks. With Satakal's eyes on our side, they'd soon leave or be too drunk to react when we did attack. But those 2 elves... they decided to come and sit with us instead.
A turn for the worse.
I could see that Tanwyn wanted to reach across and throttle them. The Justicars just sat down and struck up a conversation. I remember I kept looking between the door, straining to hear any movement outside, and Saja, who had one hand on their blade. But the Justicars just sat there, ordering more drinks. Maybe they could see we were on edge. Perhaps they just didn't care. Either way, we weren't going anywhere.
How'd you get out of it?
The innkeeper was ready to move at a moment's notice, but the Altimer didn't budge. Those of us inside the kept up the act as the Justicars continued to drink and drink. We might have been able to kill them, but it was too much of a risk. Suddenly we heard the bulk of the group moving in. It seemed Dianthus had kept her word after all. With no sign of Nilus or Kara, I assumed they were in position and ready to go. The group had arrived, and after a brief pause, a few of the nobles walked in, ordering some wine that the innkeeper had prepared for them especially. They glanced at Saja out of curiosity, but there was no sign they recognized us.
What about the 2 at your table?
They were well and truly drunk by that point, having a jest with Sunvar, who was just staring at them, his jaw clenched. The Dominion relaxed, and I could even hear one of the guards outside talking with our Lund.
What happened next?
A Justicar on the table opposite sat down and pulled down her hood, revealing Kara beneath. She was anxious, but there was no way we could talk without drawing unwanted attention. Something was wrong, and we were in deep. It was going to get bloody. The only question was when.
But you still had the advantage, didn't you?
Maybe, but it had been a mistake to draw the Altimer into the tavern. I, had underestimated what they'd do. Still, we sat there until one of the nobles came shambling over and started flirting with Tanwyn. Clearly they thought we were simple travelers, and thought to buy a night with her using gold. I kept up the gruff bandit act, giving him some excuse that she was mine or whatever. But he kept pushing. Tanwyn was so tense I thought she was about to snap, but brushed it off, until the noble leaned forward and put his hand on her thigh. Tanwyn pushed him off of her in disgust, and suddenly, everyone was on their feet. I've been lucky enough to walk away from many situations that would have killed another, but nothing can prepare someone for something like that. Perhaps it was our fault for not moving sooner, for not calling the whole thing off. Perhaps it had been doomed from the start. But it doesn't matter. It was too late. The Thalmor were ready to go, the noble indignant at some dog and his whore for refusing the likes of him. There was no turning back. 3 arrows came tearing through the open windows, hitting the drunks and then the noble, right through the throat. As everyone drew their weapons, I threw my weight forwards, flipping the table onto its side as a bolt of electricity crackled against it. That damn innkeeper had managed to time his throws with Kara, using some cheap bottles to throw on the elves while she followed up with a fireball. As the smell of burnt flesh assailed us, Tanwin and I leapt out of the nearest window, with Saja, bloody and enraged, not far behind.
How many were there?
It was better than I was expecting, worse than I hoped. Our Lund stood over 2 soldiers that had been standing guard, but more Thalmor were already running towards us. I could see Nilus on the roof nearby picking off as many as he could, but we were going to be overrun, and there was only one way out. Sunvar stepped out, his hands bloodied from beating one of the drunkard's skulls, with the wounded innkeeper in tow. The heat from behind us was overwhelming, but we drew our weapons to meet the oncoming horde.
A final stand.
I wish it had been. There was no way we'd be able to make it to the trees, and the horses the Dominion had arrived on were long gone. We stood back to back, but it was not enough. Our Lund was the first to fall, an arrow through the shoulder, and then a charger's sword. One of the battle mages collapsed the roof under Nilus, and I heard him cry as the soldiers moved in. Sunvar. He fought through the pain, wielding whatever he could get after losing his weapon. He fell with his kinsman, the innkeeper, teeth clenched in a blinding fury as he pushed his fingers as far as he could into a noble's eye sockets. Tanwin and I were protecting each other's flanks, our sabers bloodied by elven filth. But no matter how hard we fought, it wasn't enough. One by one, I watched my party die, even as more of the Dominion poured into the village ruins. Saja, right until the end, fought like one of the gods themselves. Warhammer, claws, teeth, whatever that damn Khajiit could do. But one of the Justicars blinded him with a flask, and a group of them managed to overwhelm Kara before she could help.
Watching your friends die like that, I can't even imagine.
Nor should you. Command is difficult, but we weren't just some garrison out in the wilderness. We were friends, and their deaths are on my hands.
How'd you get out?
Bloodied and near collapsing from exhaustion, I could see some of the Ultimar commanders just standing there on the edge of the village, waiting for us to either submit or die. I received an arrow through my shoulder, and then my leg for my stubbornness, and could no longer fight. Tanwin, she tried to pull my broken arse back to safety, but one of the elves ran her through when her back was turned. The sound of combat died away, and for a few moments we just lay there on the ground, waiting for the end to come. My apologies, traveler. I need a moment, and a drink.
What a story. What do you think, Thor?
Ah, another traveler.
You alright?
Yes. You'll have to forgive me. It seems retelling this was more difficult than I expected. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I could hear Tanwin wheezing. A terrible, airy noise as she breathed through her wounds. The blood was pouring out of me just as fast. As for the Thalmor, they pulled back, but I could hear someone approaching. One of their commanders came into view. At first I thought he was going to finish us off, but he just stood there, his brow furrowed, staring down at us as if he'd never seen a person die before, as if we were objects for him to study. But in the end, there was nothing I could do. I used the last of my strength to pull myself over to where Tanwin was lying. We'd come from the same village. Fought for years at each other's side. She managed to squeeze my hand softly, just once, before I heard her breathe her last. Then darkness took me.
Shit. Do you think Dianthus betrayed you?
Possibly. I suppose the hardest part is that I'll never know. She disappeared, never to be heard of again. Perhaps she did keep her word, but was killed herself. Maybe she thought we could deal with the larger force. Maybe the group we were to intercept had changed, or someone tipped them off we were in the area. Or maybe there was no Lavella Dianthus. It was a Dominion ruse from the beginning. It doesn't matter anymore. What's done is done.
And then what happened?
I awoke to find myself chained to the back of a rusted cage. I was delirious, half dead really, and the agony of losing all of them had taken its toll. But still, somehow I clung to life. It was slow and painful. But as the Dominion crowed over their new prisoner, I began to recover. Eventually, I was handed over to a scouting band and taken to one of the camps.
What was that like?
Your average prison is usually just an extension of the local fort or castle. A couple of cells chiseled out of the walls with some guards to patrol it. The Dominion, though, they built them to last. No doubt with magic at their aid, the camps were designed to be in the most hostile areas available, ensuring that if someone did manage to escape, they wouldn't make it on their own. I spent the first few months carefully examining the defenses. It'd be no easy task. Large, reinforced metal barriers, 3 rings deep, kept everyone locked tightly behind them. Spells or explosives would have barely made a dent. And the Justicars were everywhere, always watching. Some people would crack just under the stress. Then there were the beatings, torture, executions. The Dominion prides itself on being cultured and superior. But in reality, this is just a facade. They may be even more cruel than the Dwemer.
More cruel than the Dwemer? You mean the dwarves? I can imagine.
Life in the camps wasn't so bad at first. They bring you just enough food to keep you alive. A mysterious slop that tastes like boiled leather. I was in a bunker with about 100 others. Mostly red guards, but there were some orcs as well. Even a Bosmer, though he didn't last long. As you slowly begin to waste away, the lethargy ensures that prisoners are docile. Then, your biggest enemy is time. But every now and again, there needed to be a reminder of how things worked, the established order. It was a couple of weeks after I'd been captured before I saw this demonstrated. The Justicars came into each bunker in force and pulled us all out in the middle of the night. Some of us didn't even have time to dress, and the Alakir can be very cold at night.
What happened?
They brought out a Khajiit. Pathetic little thing, whimpering and emaciated. They looked like they were close to death as it is. After a short speech from the camp's captain, a group of Justicars set to work on that poor cat. No magic at first, just beating every inch of them. And we just stood there, silent, except for the cries as the Khajiit was beaten to death. That is what the Thalmor had reduced us to.
Why?
I don't know, but it was unnecessary and cruel. Sometimes it wasn't even prompted. Maybe our captors just got bored. Whatever it was, it always ended the same way. Anyone who made a sound, cried out, who dared to show their humanity, they were taken away and we never saw them again. Married couples had the worst of it, since the Thalmor would separate us out. Everyone knew what they were doing, but we couldn't lift a finger. Some of the guards would even walk past the bunkers deliberately and just smile. To have your heart's desire in reach, your very being screaming out to protect the one you love, and you can't do a thing. Another time, one sadistic mage in particular forced us all to watch as he flayed the scales off an Argonian with his dagger. Heard he's an emissary now, toasting with the nobles in Alinor.
I'm sorry. Zug can't even imagine.
How could they watch on, I wondered. Not just my kinsmen, but all of Tamriel. Everyone knew what was happening, knew it was wrong, but they did nothing. Why? Because in the end, it's not the Thalmor who we struggle against, but ourselves. And apathy, traveler, is death. Even now, here in the free north, no one pays any mind when someone gets taken in the night, whisked away to an untimely end in Northwatch. Life just goes on.
How'd you get out?
I didn't. I spent a better part of 2 years in that cursed place. 2 years. Small amount of time for some, but many good people went behind those gates. Few returned. By the time the resistance rolled through, the Great War had already ended. The Dominion was pulling its forces back. Talks had begun over the Concordat. All very neat for the nobles in Imperial City, but they hadn't lived through what we'd seen. Those who could still stand ran to the gates, braced strangers. So glad to see anyone other than a cursed Altmer. Many were so weak, however, they couldn't even stand up. They just stared at you. Hollow, empty eyes.
And you?
I was fortunate enough to have some strength left. My leg had been broken in a beating, but I could still walk. The moment I stepped out of the gates, I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried. I wept for my brothers and sisters, for our home, for all that had perished at the Dominion's hands. I was mourning then, looking out at the sun poking over the edge of the horizon, illuminating the sands. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Freedom. They had beaten us, they'd tortured us, but they hadn't broken us. After everything we endured, there was victory in that, I think. I stayed to help my kinsmen nurse those who were in need of care back to health, or at least ease their passing. Bit by bit, the camp was torn down and we scattered to the winds along with it. Nothing remains of what stood there now.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Malik. It's an honor.
You're very welcome. But we've been here for a while, no? I'm sure you'd wish to return to the road, or whatever it is you adventurers do. You were kind to listen to an old fool indulge in some memories. The older you get, the more you'll realize that's all you have. Take care, traveler. And, as a friend of mine used to say, may the road lead you to warm sands.
Wow. I got, honestly, a little tired of that halfway through, but I just kept going. And toward the end, I eventually just found myself really into Malik's story. I believe that's a mod from... I don't think it's from Interesting NPCs. I believe it's from Citizens of Tamriel. Literally talked all night. Let's grab some quick sleep here, Gore. No one's using this bedroll. I'm gonna head into Whiterun. Hey, we hit level 30 archery. That's exciting. That means we can get Eagle Eye. Then next level, I think it becomes time to put a little more into two-handed. Either Death or Glory, or Ferocious Strength.
The name's Yormir, and I'm just the man for the job.
Fighting styles often come down to build. You got arms like a clanfier, but you got no range with a weapon, but you're quick with a shield.
Where you at, dear? I love all the detail you get with the Dindle mod coming into Whiterun. So good.
Heard about you and your honeyed words.
Is that so? Hang on a second.
It's no fun getting pushed around all the time.
Having trouble, kiddo?
Yes. Braith bullies me all the time. All the elders think I'm a milk drinker because I can't fight. Nobody understands. If you can get Braith to leave me alone, I'll be your best friend. Forever. I'll pay you too. My whole life savings. 2 septums.
Grow a backbone, kid. You should.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you'd help me. Nobody ever does. Alright then.
Be alright. So, unless I've missed my mark, there should be a house here. For the Provincial Courier Service. But none is here. What's the deal with that?
Need supplies? See Bellathor at
Oh,
his store.
fine.
My friend Alon. Yes.
Yes,
If
you're
you can
having
get
trouble.
Braith to
I've
leave
heard
me
it
alone-
before. I'll
Oh,
try to talk
good.
to her.
She'll listen to you. I just know it. Well, I used to sneak out at night and try to tip over the big ox in the Greymane's yard. And me and Mila used to climb up on the roof of Dragon's Reach and look for birds' eggs. But I don't do that stuff anymore. Father keeps catching me and then I get in trouble. Alright then.
Welcome. I'm the owner and proprietor of Honningbrew Meadery. Take a look. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Hang on, I gotta check this. Provincial Courier Service. Yep. I do have the mod activated. Has it moved? Yes, looks like it has moved. To where? The southwest side of White Run. On the main road past the stables. Okay. Apparently Arthmore moved the courier's house.
I'm hungry.
Since the place where he
Maybe
put it was
today
a
I'll
popular,
try something new, like a vegetable
popular
or
location for other
something
modders to
buried under an avalanche.
also want to build on. There you go. You have some porker meat, man. Why don't you eat it? Wold. Stand sharp. Is this it? No, it's a farmhouse. This must be it right here. Okay. Where are you? You're invisible. Weird. Well, let's see what our mail is. Letter from Jarl Siggeir Falkreath. Oh!
Somebody help! I'm getting out of here.
Whoa. Who's wrong? Who's wrong? Who's wrong? It's hard fighting these dragons, man. Letter from Jarl Siggeir Falkreath. Zug. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Siggeir, and I have the honor to be the Jarl and proud of the ancient city of Falkreath. The fame of your exploits across Skyrim has brought you to my attention. If you're interested in becoming a Thane of Falkreath Hold, I invite you to speak to me the next time you're in Falkreath. Aside from the honor that accrues to the title, my thanes are entitled to a personal housecarl. I can tell you privately that a choice parcel of land in Falkreath would be available for your purchase should your services prove useful to me. I look forward to meeting you in person. We may have to give the Jarl a visit.
What do you need?
Hang on to some stuff for me.
Just leave me all the food. All right, then.
Zug's horse. This is your home. Just wait here for me, would you? Wold. Nighttime in Whiterun.
Once I've made enough money trading with the Khajiit caravans, I'm going to buy the bannered mare from Hulda. Farewell.
Oh my god. Who's throw? Oh no.
My ears. Never seen something.
What manner of magic is this?
Oh my god, did Gardar die? No.
The perks of fighting in the arena. Everyone in the city knows your name. Sometimes.
Hello, friend. Safe travels.
Hang on. So, I have a mod that makes it so that the 4 guards who come back to Whiterun with you after you fight the dragon at the watchtower get names and will talk to you. And that one just died. I think I just killed him. And Zug is in denial about this, so we're just going to redo that. Zug is... Okay. Who's throw?
In each of us,
Oh,
the future of Skyrim, the future of Tamriel. And there it is, friend. The ultimate. We are the God of power, ascended to rule the realm.
Who's throw?
It may be dead now. But where did it come from?
Businesses, your children, your very
Look out.
lives.
Don't get too close.
And what does
One of the first in fighting.
You don't like that?
Divine. Trust in me, Whiterun. Trust in Heinster, for I am the chosen of Talos. I alone have been anointed by the Night to spread his holy word.
Those teeth. No big deal. Just killing dragons. I mean, honestly, the guards did most of the work. Zug just absorbed the soul. Why can I not unlock? There it goes.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Hello, everyone.
Come by Bellathor's shop at the market. I'm sure we've got something you need.
Hey, Stadia. How's it going?
Hi there.
I enjoy this work well enough, but I'm ready to
Yes, I
retire.
pulled it before Holda. Can I grab a room?
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
Thank you.
I'll show you to your room, right this way.
these days. I really have to get something that's more comfortable to wear and easier to put on.
Hey, Anya. Want to hear a story? We're at the inn, which means it's story time. Oh, this is the journal that we found in Helgen that we couldn't open.
Let me know if there's anything else you need.
This journal contains several undated entries. Adventurer's Journal. First entry. Hard to believe I've filled up that whole journal already. I never realized how much of Cyrodiil I hadn't seen yet. So much diversity, yet so much destruction from the Great War. A lot of history has been lost here forever. The expedition is ending soon, and everyone will be returning home. I have one last task to perform before I do the same. I'll send the other journal ahead with my supplies and the artifacts we recovered. I've received word from my contacts in Skyrim. All seem quiet for now. Probably for the first time since High King Torg was killed, I should be able to make the crossing quietly enough during the night, as long as there are no Imperial patrols to deal with. So much for being discreet. I crossed the border near a small village called Helgen and made my way up to Darkwater Crossing. Unfortunately, I can't get back into my camp now because the area was filled with Imperial patrols. It seems they're searching for someone very important. If I'm not mistaken, someone they intend to ambush here. This could be the very thing I'm seeking here in Skyrim. But crossing the border in the dead of night without passing through the checkpoints has turned out to be a very bad plan. I woke early this morning with an Imperial sword pressed to my neck. A patrol found me camped under a rock outcropping on the edge of the volcanic marshes. I guess I wasn't as well hidden as I thought. I have no idea where they're taking us, but I've been stuffed into the back of a rickety old cart being pulled by an even more rickety looking old nag. At least they let me keep my journal for now. Shore's bones, if only I had known sooner. The ambush, the captives in the cart with me.
Yes.
Stormcloak rebels, led by none other than Ulfric Stormcloak himself. There's no time to explain properly. I scarcely believe it myself. If it hadn't been for the dragon, I'd not even be here to write this down. Yes, a dragon. Big, black, as large as the towers of the keep itself. It swooped in out of nowhere and laid waste to the village and the keep. General Tullius didn't take my head today, or the heads of several Stormcloak rebels, but that doesn't matter now. Hydvar and Ralof set aside their differences to help the survivors.
What is it?
They went into the lower keep hours ago. Something about caves or the back entrance. I don't think they're coming back.
Yes.
I'll have to see if I can get out of the city and down to Riverwood. Someone needs to warn them. This building won't remain standing for much longer. I still can't believe it. A dragon. Straight out of the legends. Nobody back home will believe me.
What is it?
Time for bed, Elder One. Let's get a nice long sleep. Something which I am personally going to do in a moment.
Good to see you.
Have a coin, Brenwyn.
Are we sleeping?
Oh, thank you. Divines bless your kind heart.
I could go for a good Tamika Vintage 399 right now. It's so hard to find third era bottles, though. The blasted war is what did it.
Am I ahead of me? No, I didn't.
You're someone who can get things done. I like that.
With the mead and the gift, I'm up to a speech level of 59. Pretty good. We're going to sell
What do you
some things
need?
more.
Just leave me all the food.
Okay, you can have all that stuff, and that stuff, and that stuff. I'll take all this stuff, though.
Fresh baked loaves, still warm from the oven.
Let's go.
Okay. And based on our skill level, we should favor selling to general merchants hunters, miners, farmers, blacksmiths, and leather workers. So mages, tailors, and alchemists are going to give us the worst prices.
I need trinkets for your
So that means we start with Bellathor
all
and
passed by the great Aorlan.
probably with Adrienne and Ulfberth. Whoa.
Yesterday I saw a dragon fly right over the city, headed northeast, towards Sheerpoint by the looks of it.
Thanks for the tip.
How's it going?
It's also
Take a
stuff,
look.
Adrienne. I think I'm done with the bandana. You can have it. Oh my god, look at all this other stuff though.
Good luck out there. What are you doing that for?
Zug has a bunch of iron. Can Zug upgrade anything he cares about? Oh, he can upgrade his bow. Oh, he has one steel ingot. Then let's invest it wisely. Let's put it into the battle axe. That tends to get the most use. Need some leather to upgrade these things. Good. Let's make some. Excuse me, Adrienne. There's so much stuff here. Wow. I'll try to upgrade it as far as I can upgrade it. Makes sense. Well, I think that Zaga's going to try his hand at a little bit of smithing. All the materials he has. Seems like a pretty worthwhile thing for him to do. An eye patch. That could be fun. And this armor is a nice upgrade for Zod. Although perhaps not as stylish. That's okay.
They say Norland Greymen crafts weapons that can make heroes out of feathers. I'd like to see him turn Embry into a Dragonborn.
Haha. Yes, Core, I've heard that one before. So let's just, Core, you can hang on to the bear pelts to make sure I don't accidentally crack them.
Just leave me all the food.
There you go.
All right, then.
Oh wow, that's cool. I can make leather barding for the horse. That's neat, actually. Is this what you're wearing already, Or the brigand armor? I think you are.
What do you need? Just leave me all the food.
Yeah, you are.
Let's go.
Here you go.
What do you need?
Or we can be matching eye patch bros.
Just leave me all the food.
There you go.
Let's go.
Cool. Okay. Did it actually make anything that I would like to wear? I don't think so. Oh wow, it's goofy looking.
You're someone who
Hey,
can get
Adriana.
things done. Looking to protect yourself or deal some damage?
I'm gonna sell you some stuff.
Good luck out there.
Whiterun. If I never saw dragons, just remember. Just leave me all the food.
Yep. Okay.
Alright then.
I screwed that up.
Yeah? Just leave me all the food. Alright then.
Kind of like the look of that.
Just leave me all the food.
Not that I spend much time in third person.
Alright then.
Let's do some more business.
Be careful.
Whoa. What's up, Big B?
Welcome to Bellathor's General Goods. Welcome indeed. Everything's for sale, my friend. Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Okay, buy my wine. It's no use to me. What else do I have duplicates of? Nothing, I guess. Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. Great.
Do come back.
All right. Let's go to Arcadia. Then we'll head up into the upper districts.
Got a pretty full stock of potions and alchemy reagents. Good to see you. Ah, so you're an alchemist then. Take care of yourself.
So can Zug try to like use your alchemy
You'll
lab?
find. What do you need, my friend? As long as you clean up. You know how to use it, right? Mix a couple of ingredients together, see what happens. A little wheat and blister wort makes it. We have plenty of ingredients for sale, too.
All right.
Be careful out there.
So Isolda, what you doing here? I see.
I offer remedies for
I heard that if you
ailments,
eat
both
the ingredients,
common
you can
and
learn
rare.
some of the
Do let me know if I can be of
properties. Is that
service.
true?
I sell cures for all ills, and I'll be happy to serve you. You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content. I offer remedies for ailments both common and rare. Do let me know if I can be of service. What are you doing that for?
Just checking things out. Yes. I feel like they're making some restore health potions. I just feel like that a lot.
I sell cures for all ills, and I'll be happy to serve you.
Dragon hearts are so valuable.
You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content.
I think we're not gonna use any of our dragon stuff. I think we're gonna sell that stuff because it's very valuable.
If there's anything I can help. Good to see you. Ah, so you're an alchemist then.
Same with all the really valuable stuff. Okay.
Take care of yourself.
What's the point of paying for stuff when you can just kill for it?
Good question, Bora.
That's a fine potion you've put together. You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content. If there's anything I can help you with, you have but to ask. I offer remedies for ailments both common and rare. Do let me know if I can be of service. You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content.
What do you need?
I sell cures for all ills.
Just leave me all the food.
You'll find tonics, salves, poultices, and potions on my shelves. Browse to your heart's content.
I'm not so sure Zug is going to really spend much time indulging in this side of the game.
Let's go.
So much time is spent in the UI.
If there's anything I can help you with, you have but to ask.
But the expedience of crafting a bunch of healing potions cannot be denied. Really can't. There's this fire. It's I think pretty useful. All the dragon fights. Oh, fortified two-handed. Oh, yes. That we like. And the rest of these will just turn into potions and sell.
Good to see. Take a look.
Heavy potions. Okay. This is 17% poison damage. How useful is that to hang on to? I'm not really sure. Resist fire. Do I need 6 pounds of resist fire potions? 4% magic. That ain't worth it. I'm gonna say I'll keep 5 of these. I'll keep 4.
Be careful out there. I sell cures for all ills, and I'll be happy to serve you.
That's it for now. Thanks, Arcadia. So you don't want the dragon flesh. Is it
Take a good
Bellathor
look
on it?
around. I'm sure you'll
Zug
find what
doesn't
you're
have
looking for.
room in his pockets to hang on
If
to
not,
stuff.
let me know. Take a look.
I should have kept the salt. That was dumb. Okay.
Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
No new books. Weak. Weak inventory overall, Bellathor.
Bits and baubles for sale. All crafted by the best blacksmith in
The
the
finest
island.
cuts, fresh from the wilds.
What a waste.
Wool.
By the gods, what manner of power is that?
Yeah, it'll
Good to see you. Hello, friend.
Alright. Hey, Lydia.
Honored to see you again, my
I
Thane.
see you're still wearing your loot.
Good to see you.
Let's talk.
Spells and incantations for those with the talent to cast them.
Talk to me about enchanting Fargar.
Ah, student of the craft. You'll need to start by learning an enchantment. Take an enchanted weapon or piece of armor, then use the arcane enchanter to learn its secrets. The item is destroyed in the process, so be wary. Once you know an enchantment, you'll need a filled soul gem and something to enchant. You'll use the arcane enchanter for that too. Of course, I have everything you need for sale if you have the coin. It's been good talking to you.
So sure I'm going to disenchant this fang. It's a beautiful weapon. Seems unique. I can put frost damage on one of my weapons here. What if I did like on the battle axe? Doesn't say how many charges. $51 charges. To add like 9%. I almost think it'd be better to just hang on to I think Zug made a mistake. I think Zug is not down with enchanting.
Good to see you.
Interesting. Let's treat it as an experiment.
Watching you reminds me of my first days as an enchanter. Divine smile on you, friend. Good to see you.
So where can I go to learn more about magic, if I were wanting to?
A prospective student, are you? Well, I'm afraid I'm not much good at teaching. You should try your luck at the College of Winterhold. So, you wish to master the arcane arts? Take care of yourself now.
Yes,
come to
good books on
Dragon's
you,
Reach
don't
to
you?
discuss the spells and incantations for those with the talent to guess them.
No, those are my books. All you have are spell. So what's this? The fairy. Get off you. Okay, I think we're done here.
It's been good talking to you.
Good to see you.
Enjoy your visit to Dragon's Reach.
We can never rest easy.
How are you,
May the
Jarl?
gods watch over your battles, friend.
Hey, Jarl. I'm Dragonborn. How's it going?
I've got my eyes on you.
We'll chat later. In terms of errands, I think we're done. Wow, we're carrying so much stuff. Is there a quick pot over here? Yeah. Need salt to make anything.
Ain't nobody high and mighty in these halls, except in the Jarl. And don't you forget.
So I'm gonna go ahead and sell some of my heavier foods. Unless I can load off. Yeah, I think, oh, not tomorrow. It's okay. I think we're gonna call it a night. This has been a fun indulgence. Thanks, Skyrim. Thanks, Tamriel. And thank you, Twitch. Have a good night.